You've probably registered for the webinar because you're interested in learning more about the university's probation, dismissal, and re-enrollment process. We're joined today by Neela Wilson, Advisor for Retention Initiatives, and Pauline Walker, Coordinator for the Student Success Office. Please feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation, and we will do our best to respond to those questions before the end of the webinar. With that, I hand off the presentation. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. The webinar we are going to cover is on academic probation. Hi, everyone. The webinar is on academic probation, dismissal, and the re-enrollment process, brought to you by the Office of Student Success. I'm Neela.
I'm Pauline.
Terms to know. Continuous registration. Students must continue to register for classes every fall and spring until graduation. Students who do not will need to apply for enrollment. Academic probation. A warning or probationary semester following the semester where a student earns a cumulative GPA under 2.0. To return to good academic standing, students must raise their cumulative GPA to 2.0 by the end of their probationary semester. Academic dismissal. When a student on academic probation does not raise their cumulative GPA by the end of their probationary semester, they are dismissed from the university based on their academic performance. Semester GPA versus cumulative GPA. The semester GPA is based on grades earned within that semester at UMD. The cumulative GPA is based on all grades earned within all semesters of attendance at UMD. We'll now discuss the pathway to probation, dismissal, and re-enrollment. The first week of every semester, students receive a course syllabus in every class, listing expectations, deadlines for assignments, and dates for exam. Midterm. Midterm warning grades are posted by the 10th week of class for all first-year students, anyone in 100 or 200 level courses, and all student athletes.
Could you hear? Okay. Okay. Can you? Okay. Try to use that microphone.
Midterm. Many colleges contact students via email regarding low midterm grades and provide a listing of campus resources to assist them with their academic performance. By the end of the semester, the GPA calculation is processed. Students with a cumulative GPA below 2.0 are notified about academic probation for the upcoming spring or fall semester. This is an example of the probation notification email. Students are informed that they were placed on academic probation at the conclusion of the semester, and they are told that to remain in good academic standing at the university, they must maintain a cumulative 2.0 GPA. They're told to go to this link in order to read the Satisfactory Academic Progress Policy, and they're asked to consider the following recommendations to improve their academic record. Review the requirements in that policy that I stated earlier. Meet with their academic advisor to discuss their current academic record and the action steps. Review the free tutoring services and academic success resources that we have on campus, and use the GPA by GPA goal calculator, which I'll be discussing a little bit later. Once a student is placed on academic probation, this is a good time for them to pause and reflect prior to their probationary semester. To determine which next step is in their best interest, the student needs to discuss the situations, habits, etc. that contributed to probation and seek resources on campus or even off campus. Some of these can include time management and study habits, health, stress, and other concerns, and also consider if the major is a good fit. So the students need to consider if these issues have been addressed or resolved. The student should complete the GPA calculator to determine the likelihood of a successful continuation at UMD. And again, I'll discuss that shortly. The student should also consider, would taking time off help? Taking classes elsewhere perhaps at a community college, taking time off to work to save money, or even taking time off to address health issues. Students should discuss their options with family and their academic advisor to come up with a plan. And here are some helpful links that the student can review to help them make their decision. This is the GPA calculator that I mentioned earlier. This calculation produces a list of scenarios for reaching the student's desired GPA. Each line displays a number of credits and the total GPA required to reach their desired GPA. Here's an example of a student transcript. When completing the GPA calculator, the student needs to use attempted credits, not earned credits. So in this case, 36 attempted credits. And the student, in this example, has a 1.8 GPA, cumulative GPA. And for the total credits earned that is necessary for graduation is 120. And they need to enter the desired GPA, in this case 2.0. Once the GPA calculates, or the GPA calculator runs, it'll give an example, perhaps 15 credits. The student in their probationary semester, if they register for 15 credits, then their desired GPA by the end of that semester is a 2.5 in order to reach a cumulative 2.0 GPA. Once the student continues in their probationary semester, the student is required to meet with their academic advisor. The midterm of their probationary semester. Mid-semester email is sent from the undergraduate studies office, reminding them that they are on academic probation. Midterm warning grades are posted, and many colleges contact students regarding low midterm grades. Again, once the probationary semester starts, the students who want to adjust the schedule or register for classes must meet with an academic advisor and obtain permission to register for class. This is called the electronic advising stamp. The midterm of the probationary semester is when the professors enter their midterm grades. Students with a D, U, or F grade are often notified by their college. And again, an email is sent from the undergraduate studies office reminding students of their probationary status. Here is an example of that email, the midterm semester reminder. The student is reminded that they are currently on academic probation and are in danger of being academically dismissed by the end of the semester. They're reminded that they must maintain a cumulative 2.0 GPA in order to stay in good standing. The same information that they received following their probationary notification is listed here. They're reminded to review the satisfactory academic progress policy, meet with their advisor, utilize the professor office hours to discuss ways that they can improve their academic performance, review the tutoring options and academic success resources, visit the counseling center to learn more about the guided study sessions, and use the GPA calculator. By the end of the probationary semester, the GPA calculation is processed. If cumulative GPA is less than 2.0, then the student may face academic dismissal. Once the probationary semester ends, and the students who do not earn a 2.0 cumulative GPA at the end of this semester may be academically dismissed. A student may remain on probation if they have less than 60 credits, their semester GPA is 2.0 or higher, and they have had no previous dismissals. Further information can be found at this link. The student status will be reflected on their unofficial transcript, which can be reviewed by logging into Studo. This is an example of the dismissal notification that students receive. They are informed that they were academically dismissed from the university and that it is a result of a cumulative GPA below 2.0. The student is informed that they have been academically dismissed and they can apply for reinstatement. And if they wish to apply for reinstatement to the university, they need to consider the following recommendations. Meet with their academic advisor to review their academic record and determine if it is in their best interest to apply for reinstatement. They need to submit their reinstatement application and required supporting documentation. They need to contact the Student Financial Services and Cashiering and the Department of Resident Life for more information about the impact of their dismissal. And then they need to review any course registration that they have.
If a student is placed on academic dismissal after they get their notification, we do recommend that they again pause and reflect. So prior to starting the re-enrollment process, a student needs to determine if applying for re-enrollment is in their best interest. Again, discussing situations, habits that contributed to their dismissal. These may be the same or different than what led to their probation. Time management and study habits, health, stress, and other concerns, and is the major a good fit? Also, they need to reflect on whether these issues have been resolved or addressed. Again, completing the GPA Calculator is another good step, as well as our re-enrollment assessment worksheet, which I'll talk about in a moment. Also, they need to determine if time away could be helpful. They can use time away to take classes elsewhere, perhaps at a community college, use time away to work and save money, or use the time away to address health issues. We always recommend students discuss options with family and academic advisors to come up with a plan. The re-enrollment assessment worksheet is here on the right side of your screen, and a transcript is on the left side. This is similar information to what we send to our faculty petition board when they review the application. The first part is looking at previous semester GPAs. So in our example here on the left, the student's first semester GPA was a 1.325. Their second semester GPA was a 3.250. Their third semester GPA was a 0.825. Next step on the worksheet is the GPA Calculator that Neela went over earlier and we'll go over again in a moment. Third section is looking at the major. How many DF and W grades has the student received in their major requirement? Have they completed their benchmark courses? Do they need any exceptions to policy is the next thing. How many credits have they repeated? There are only 18 credits allowed to be repeated here at Maryland. Do you need to take a course for a third time? Students are allowed to repeat a course or take a course twice. If they need to take it for a third time, that is an exception to policy. Again, the GPA Calculator, like Neela said, you want to make sure that attempted credits are used and the UG cumulative GPA is used. So again, in this example, the student would need 15 credits at a 2.25 in order to earn a 2.0 cumulative GPA. If the student decides that re-enrollment is what they want to do, the student will need to submit an application or appeal right away. The application is processed and sent to the faculty petition board. This process can take 4 to 6 weeks. The student will submit the re-enrollment application online. Parents and families can help students through this process by assisting students with preparing their essay statement. Students need to answer the question, what led to my dismissal and what will I do differently? These statements should reflect that the student has carefully considered whether or not they are ready to return to UMD. Make sure the statement is honest and realistic, shows that the student takes responsibility for their role in their dismissal. Statement has specific details where necessary, shows that the student is familiar with the dismissal withdrawal policies of the university, and that they understand that they are asking for an exception to policy. The statement should not make any assumptions or demands, and overall, the statement should be proofread. For more information, you can go to our website at this link here. Once the student submits the application online, an email is sent to them notifying that the application has been submitted. The application is then forwarded on to our anonymous faculty petition board for review. The board decides if a student is allowed to return. If the student is not allowed to return, the decision is emailed. If a student is allowed to return, the application remains pending until all blocks are cleared. These blocks could include financial, judicial, and/or major approval. This includes approval to return to their previous major or approval to change their major. The students can receive a variety of decisions. Some students are asked by the board to take coursework elsewhere and then return. So they must complete 12 or 24 credits at another institution, either community college or another 4-year university. They must earn at least a 2.5 GPA and have no D, F, or W grades. Students may be requested to take time off and then return. So they should not register at UMD for 1 or 2 semesters. They are not required to take any coursework away, but they may if they choose to do so. Some students are asked to complete their degree elsewhere. Based on their GPA calculation, they're not able to complete their degree here at Maryland. Some students are allowed to return right away. This is rarely given right after dismissal. Some of the ABCs of ways parents and family can help. Acknowledge student concerns. Listen to your student if they're telling you they have issues. We've had a parent in the past who contacted us after their student was dismissed, stating that their student had said that they were not ready to return after probation, but they pushed the student to return right away. And they wished that they had made a better choice at the time and listened to their student. Be open to other options. Your student may need to take time off, may need to change their major, may need to change their schedule, either a reduced course load, less extracurriculars, different work hours, etc. Also, your student may find that University of Maryland is not the right fit for them and may need to look at other institutions. Consider if poor academic performance is an indication of family or friend issues, financial issues, mental health or personal issues, or major or institution fit, and get at the source of what is the problem. Often, academic probation or dismissal is not a reflection on a student's ability to succeed here. It's usually outside issues that are affecting their academics. Also remember that a delayed graduation is better than no graduation. A student taking a semester or a year off may delay their graduation, so it may be 5 or 6 years instead of a 4-year graduation turnaround, but that's better than staying here for too long and not being allowed to graduate. Also, enable your student to make a plan for success. Make sure that they're making choices that are going to help them succeed here at Maryland and also life in general. Here's our contact information. You can find much of the things we've mentioned here today on our website at www.studentsuccess.umd.edu. And at any time, you or your student can email us at rr-admit@umd.edu. Also are some helpful links. Some of these things were linked earlier in the presentation for academic support services, tutoring and academic success resources, re-enrollment tools, re-enrollment after academic dismissal information, and the GPA Calculator. Based on your registration, you're allowed to ask some questions that you were hoping to be answered in this presentation. We pulled out some of the things that we did not cover in our presentation to give you some additional information. One of the things every family should know about is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA. In order to discuss student records with parents and families, students would need to sign a FERPA waiver for their advisors to be able to share information. This is federal law and not UMD policy. The repeat policy, there's a link here to the repeat policy. Students may only take a course 2 times. If a 3rd attempt is needed, student will need to appeal to their college for an exception to policy. If a student does not do well in a major course, especially introductory courses, this may be an indicator that the student needs to reconsider whether or not this major is a good fit for them. Students interested in a semester withdrawal or a retroactive withdrawal will need to complete the withdrawal process through the Office of the Registrar, and we have included the link here. Some parents asked about limited enrollment programs. You can go to the LEP website. It's lep.umd.edu. That includes information on all the limited enrollment programs here on campus and the requirements to get in and remain into the limited enrollment program. Regarding internships, the University Career Center and the President's Promise is the way to go. They're at careers.umd.edu. This is also a helpful resource if your student is having concerns about being in the right major. The Career Center has some helpful tools to help students determine what majors will help them get to where they want to be. Questions regarding financial aid and bursar payments should be directed to the Student Financial Services and Cashiering. Their website is billpay.umd.edu.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us this afternoon. As we bring this webinar to a close, I'd like to remind everyone that a recording of this webinar will be available on the Terp Family YouTube page. You can also access the recording through our website at terpfamily.umd.edu if you'd like to rewatch this with another family member. You'll see on this last slide the contact information for the Student Success Office listed there, as well as the Office of Parent Family Affairs. So feel free to reach out with any questions, concerns, or feedback that you have. You'll also receive an email this afternoon asking you for feedback. So please let us know how we did and how we can improve on future webinars. We welcome your thoughts. Have a wonderful day.